Yes, thank you so much to our wonderful host, Mr. Jerome Enriquez, for that lovely introduction. Tambula Binaka, greetings to all our participants. I trust that you're all in great health and spirits listening in to our 8th session. My name is Vasiti Lawakeli. I am a YLT member from the Republic of the Fiji Islands, hoping to inspire you today with the topic lecture, Leadership and Volunteerism. So, shall we begin? Are you excited? Are you nervous? No. Okay, lecture and volunteerism. So, volunteerism. Volunteerism comes from the word volunteer. According to our friend Mr. Google, volunteerism is the use or involvement of volunteer labor, especially in community services. For me, volunteerism is the act of giving up time, effort, and energy with a desire to do good, an act of choice, not force. So youth by UNESCO is best understood as a period of transition from the dependence of childhood to adulthood's independence and awareness of our interdependence as a member of community. In other words, a state leading up to maturity. Youth has a very important role to play in our society. Youths are more interactive, full of life, full of energy, and more educated in rationality. That's the reason why many organizations openly welcome youths as volunteers. So have you volunteered yet? Who among our participants experienced volunteering? Let's say for a service project, volunteer to become a staff of an event, volunteer with Red Cross, or perhaps at the library. Let's bring it more relatively. Volunteering at home, volunteer to wash the dishes, iron the clothes, preparation for a meal. I'll give an example from my side. In primary school, I had a fair idea about what volunteerism is. You know, when the teacher asks the class, who can wipe the blackboard? Who can sweep the classroom? Who can empty the trash bin? Or be given the opportunity to volunteer clubs in schools. For me, I volunteered being the school librarian for 5 years in high school. I volunteered at our school's mass media club. I joined our hockey club. I volunteered becoming an ambassador for our university. My point in sharing these experiences is that I did all this voluntarily, not because I was forced. Influenced, yes, but not forced. Really offering to take part. So why do people volunteer? Is it to gain fame? Is it to be famous? Is it to kill time? Is it for money? People volunteer for the betterment of their health, physically, mentally, and emotionally. They volunteer to help manage and lower the stress level. They volunteer to feel a deeper connection for communities and to others. They volunteer to be more informed, more engaged, and involved in taking care of their own health. In my experience, volunteering has taken toll in having a positive mindset and positive attitude. It has enabled me to serve others, build my self-esteem. Volunteering has brought me from an insecure teenager from Fiji to become an advocate of peace. So volunteerism in the world is not dead. Do you believe so? So in this slide, these are different translations of the word volunteer. In Japanese, volantia. In Korean, jiwonja. In Spanish, voluntario. In Filipino, voluntario, and others to name a few. So in this slide, this is an example of a true figure of volunteerism. This young man was awarded CNN Hero of the Year all because he volunteered to provide pushcart classes to Filipino youths, an alternative to street gangs through education, recreating school settings in unconventional locations such as cemeteries and trash dumps. Wow, aren't you inspired by this initiative of volunteerism? So Mr. Penal Florida knew what his community was like. He knew what youths without education will turn out to be. So he chose to change for his community, to change young people's life. Thus, he volunteered to provide pushcart classes. Now let's talk about volunteerism from the perspective of HJ Youth Leadership Training International. Dual purpose of human beings. So there are pictures in these slides which represent dual purpose of human beings. On your left is the dual purpose for the whole, and on your right is the dual purpose for an individual. So what does it mean to have dual purpose for the whole? It means to have greater good, positive contribution to the society for the sake of others. And purpose for the individual means for myself, for the enrichment of oneself. Let me give you an example. For example, in a team sport, let's say in the game of football, it requires, in order for the whole team to win, it requires. But imagine if one player decides to be a one-man army, one team player. Would the team win? Yes, maybe. But would his other team members, would they be happy? I don't think so, right? And then another example is, in order to give happiness to others, you must first be happy with yourself, right? In order to dominate the universe, you must first dominate yourself. Therefore, there cannot be any individual purpose which does not support the whole purpose, nor can there be any whole purpose that does not guarantee the interests of the individual. So, this slide is from one of the most true figures that is respected in the world, our Mother Teresa, and she says, unless a life is lived for others, it is not worthwhile. Do you agree? So human beings have always struggled to understand who we are and why we must live. We must realize that just as we were not born of our own accord, so also we are not meant to live our lives for our own sakes. So there cannot be any individual purpose which does not support the whole purpose. So God created us not to live for ourselves or for our selfish desires. Did you choose to be born? Did you choose to be a boy? Did you choose to be a girl? Why am I living? What is the meaning of life? Should we live for ourselves? Can we live by ourselves? Happiness is a life lived for others. Today, I tell young people to experience everything they can in the world. They need to directly or indirectly experience everything in the world as if they were devouring an encyclopedia. What does this mean? A person's self-identity is his clear subjective nature. Once a person has the confidence to say, I can go all around the world and I will never come across a person able of defending me, then he is ready to take on any task and have the confidence to accomplish it successfully. When a person lives life this way, he will be successful. Success is assured. Is that right? So the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others by Mahatma Gandhi. What does this mean? It means you will find who you are, what you are capable of, your real self, not just by your own self. You will find who you are by what? Serving others. Sometimes you can discover yourself just by yourself. You discover something new when you live not for the sake of yourself, but for the sake of others. Now let's talk about leadership. What is leadership? What is the connection between volunteerism and leadership? There is a connection. I'm going to talk about leadership and why volunteerism and leadership is very related to each other. So leadership. Leadership is a process of social influence in which a person can enlist the aid and support of others in the accomplishment of common tasks. Leadership is both a research area and a practical skill, encompassing the ability of an individual or organization to lead or guide other individuals, teams, or entire organizations. I'm sure all of you participants have experienced leadership, being a leader, taking the lead, leadership in school as maybe class captain, school prefect, or team leader of a certain sport, leadership at home, leading example in front of your younger siblings, or leadership in your community. So, global leader. A true global leader is someone who is able to embrace the world in his own bosom. A person who has no interest in the problems of the world cannot become a global leader. Hunger and poverty. The conflict of whose control over the world's dwindling and limited resources. So this is the reality that's happening right now, young people. Why is this happening? Because of lack of leadership. If we have lack of leadership, these kind of things will happen. That is hunger and poverty, infant deaths in millions, malnutrition, starvation. How sorrowful are these situations? Doesn't it hurt your heart? All because of what? Lack of leadership. So who and where do we turn to for help? To whom? Who do we turn to for help? Where will we turn to for rescue? To our families, friends, to the president? Yes, they can. But to whom? Our families. Yes, but it is not without many challenges. So to whom are we going to ask for help? Mostly to families. But what if our families have enough problems already? Can it still solve the problem? Can it still solve the society's problems? So to whom? The answer is us. You yourself can solve your problem, not other people. Us, as the young people, as the future, we can solve the problem because we are the hope of the young people. But young people are having so much problems, they can't even solve their own problems, even simple problems. So how can young people solve the problems of the society if they cannot solve the problems of their own? One of the reasons is because of families, our families. Because of the challenges within the family, right? The school of a child is not the school that they're attending, but the school of the child is the family. The first school where a child learns is the family. So if the school has a problem, the students will also have a problem, right? Same goes for the family. If there's a problem in the family, there will be also problem with the child, right? Do you understand? So because of that, what's happening? Husband and wife are fighting. Children are struggling. Young people are struggling. Young people are becoming a problem. Why? We need to solve first what? Of course, our family. That's why, as young people, how to help the family? Love your parents. Love your mom and dad. When you go back home, or if you're listening from home right now, say to your mom and dad if they're there, I love you, mom and dad. Please don't fight. I love you and always going to love you forever and ever. Also, this kind of problem, substance abuse, the conflict within is the most serious of all. So youth in crisis, drug and alcohol abuse. The major problem these days is not money, economic, not just starvation, but the major problem is young people. What can happen in the future? If the young people are still ignorant about what's happening in society, in our nation, our world, so what do we need? Global leader. What kind of global leader? Who are they? Is it the president? My parents? My friends? Can be. But the global leaders are whom? Us, young people, who are the hope of the future. So to be a global leader, a person must think of the world's problem as his own and have the pioneering spirit that is needed for finding difficult solutions. A person who is attached to a secure and fixed income or dreams of having a pension after retirement and having a comfortable family life cannot be a global leader. See, it is stated here. If you're having struggle, don't worry, be grateful. Why? You are facing a problem of becoming a global leader. Because a global leader is what? A leader who does not think himself or herself, but a leader who thinks for the sake of others. A leader who thinks that the world problem is his own problem. His nation's problem is his own problem. That kind of person is a leader. That kind of person is what? A true volunteer. Am I right? So a global leader is to become a global leader, a person must consider the whole world to be his country and all humanity to be his brothers and sisters. A global leader doesn't just think about the world's problem, but because he or she have the heart to think of the world's problem. So why? Why does he or she have that kind of heart? It is because he treats other people as his own brothers and sisters. Even your nationality is different, right? Your skin color is different, right? Your race is different, right? Even though you're different, a global leader thinks of you as their own brother and sister. That is why a global leader thinks of the world's problem as his own problem, because because he is living in a world where he regards everyone as his family. So a global leader is someone who loves humanity as he loves his own family. The world is like a living organism in that it is always changing. New problems are always arising. I go to the dark corners of the world where the problems exist. These are not the places with beautiful views or comfortable amenities, but I feel happy in places that are dark, difficult, and lonely, because that is where I'm fulfilling my mission, my purpose, my goals. So the world is changing. It will not be stagnant. It will not remain still. As time passes, as year passes, it won't be the same. Change will always happen. It is the same for us human beings. It is the same for us young people. We cannot just stay stubborn forever. We cannot just stay ignorant forever. We need to change. As our world changes, we also need to change. Do you understand, brothers and sisters? So the starting point to have a dream So the starting point to have a dream is what? The starting point to have a dream and a goal is what? What is the starting point? What is that? To have a dream, you need to have a goal. You need to have a vision in life. So please, brothers and sisters, have an adventurous and pioneering spirit. Dream dreams that others dare not imagine. Set goals for yourselves that have meaning and become great who will bring benefit to humankind. I am telling this to you, my fellow brothers and sisters. Why am I calling you brothers and sisters? It is because I am practicing to become a global leader myself. I call you brothers and sisters because I treat you as my family. And I'm telling this to you. I am expressing this to you, my vision, my dream, how to change the world, how to make a better place for us, human beings, how to make a peaceful world. So first, as youth, as young people, we need to have a dream and a goal. We need to have a strong conviction towards our dream and our goals. We need to have a vision in life. That is the starting point. Do you understand? So leadership and volunteerism. So every individual has two purposes. We volunteer to be able to achieve it. Our dual purposes, the dual purpose of whole and the dual purpose of an individual. How we work together to achieve dual purpose of humankind, human being. Happiness is a life lived for others. And in order to have that, we need to gather together to become one family under God. And in order to do that, we need to become global leaders that always think of the world's problem as his or her own problem and have the pioneering spirit that is needed to find difficult solutions. So leadership and volunteerism. Can you now see the connection that a leader is someone who volunteers? A leader is the one who has the heart of volunteering. So those who volunteer become what? Leaders. So those who can do, do. Those who can do more, volunteer and lead. So if you can do, just do it. Go for it. And if you know you can do more, offer more, achieve more, volunteer. Volunteer. Just like me. I'm one of those examples. I volunteer myself. Why? Because I can do more. So, in order to be global leaders, we need to serve the world with the heart of a father and the shoes of a servant. This is the heart of the leader. So I hope to see peace leaders who will take on the mission of pioneering new solutions to the old, current and new problems in our societies and in the world. So thank you so much for listening and for your attentiveness. That concludes my presentation. Thank you so much.